From Boston, attending the National Association of Black Journalists Convention. Roland Martin, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Tom. Good morning, Sybil. Good morning, Jay. Certainly glad to be in Beantown with all of our black journalist folk having a good old time here. And so looking forward to spending some time with them of course, this weekend. Tom, we got some serious issues in this country, and I don't really mean to laugh at what's happening with the Republicans in Congress, but it's kind of bad. You sue the president on Wednesday. You look crazy suing him for doing his job because you can't do your job. And Tom, yesterday, a perfect example, the Republicans put forth an immigration bill to deal with the border crisis, those 50,000 plus kids down there on the border. They can't even pass their own bill, Tom. Tom, they own bill. Joining me right now, Lauren Victoria Burke, Politics365.com. And Lauren, this they own bill. Normally, right. Lauren, in politics, when you put a bill up, you already have the votes. Can they count?
Exactly. They put their own legislation up to deal with the border crisis, and they couldn't even get the votes to pass it. And, of course, 5 seconds after they can't pass it, they blame the president for not taking action. They say, well, wait a minute, he's got to be the one to take the action because we can't take the action. So effectively, they can't pass their own bill, and then they blame him for inactivity one day after suing him for being too active. I mean, so it can't get any more ridiculous than that.
Now, and again, there are 225 Republicans in the House, and all you need is 218 to pass the bill.
Right, exactly right. It's a case of the House effectively, the president's argument being correct, which is that he does have to sometimes take action because Congress will not take action. Here you have a crisis at the border that needs to be dealt with, and they can't vote on the money to pay for it to be solved, the problem to be solved, or at least the problem to be dealt with.
But, Lauren, didn't they also say, Mr. President, you don't have the authority to do this. Congress should be the ones figure out what happens with these kids down there?
Exactly right. And that has been the Republican rap for, of course, years, that he doesn't have the authority, we should have to do it. And really, actually, last night also, something that people missed later last night was that the Senate effectively torpedoed the entire thing because whatever the House does today is completely irrelevant. The Senate voted last night to stop the money for the border, so whatever the House does over today is irrelevant. It's just game. It's an amazing thing. I mean, they blame him for overreaching and taking too much power and supposedly being a dictator, but they can't pass anything.
But they won't stop their vacation from starting.
Exactly right.
And they're going to be gone for the whole month of August.
Exactly right. And this is a Republican-led House. They can't get their act together. Their majority leader just left yesterday. Now we hear he's going to resign from Congress completely. That would be Eric Cantor. So the new people who are coming in counting the votes are fumbling and bumbling on their first day.
And wait a minute. What about the children on the border? What about them?
Well, you know what? If it weren't for the fact that the Senate and the House, the Republicans in Congress, are more interested
in sort
of looking, right? They're more interested in looking busy and stopping the president than they are in fixing a problem, and that's at the heart of the.
And that is a problem. Those children are at the border.
Exactly right, Tom. And this is why when the president does try to take action and get them to pay for the necessary action to be taken, he's waiting for them. They have to appropriate the money, And so if he does it by executive order or makes some move, they're going to criticize him. But you're right, the problem still remains.
Speaking of stuck on stupid, Tom, Lauren also met this week with Steve Israel, Congressman for the DCCC, and he played I don't know when it comes to black contractors and all that money the Democrats spend, right, Lauren?
Exactly. $500 million spent over the last cycle from Democratic campaign committees, less than 1% spent on black consultants. This is a problem that's been going on for a long time, and quite frankly, the bottom line of it is the Democratic Party does not hire black consultants, does not spend money on black consultants, and this is a long-term problem that members of the Congressional Black Caucus have been putting pressure on them to fix for years. They talk about getting out the black vote in states like Georgia, North Carolina, Louisiana, and Virginia, but they don't hire any black people to help get that black vote out. These are multi-million-dollar contracts we're talking about.
And you said for 60 years?
No, I said the last cycle, they spent over $500 million, and less than 2% of the money went to minorities. If you say specifically black people, black consultants, it's less than 1%. And thanks to Steve Phillips at Power Pack Plus, we know that information.
Yep. So it's a stuck on stupid week, Tom.
All right.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.